Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Thicket, and this is a new crime thriller western coming your way from director Elliot Lester, who previously did the film Aftermath with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and creates a very stark, gritty kind of landscape that's cold, and it's certainly set during winter. Plenty of snow, barren trees and forests and such, and just creating this atmosphere that's just perfect for the violent, bloody, and cold kind of story that this film tells about a young man played by Levon Hawke, whose sister is kidnapped, and he kidnapped by a feared outlaw, Cutthroat Bill, played by Juliette Lewis, and he enlists Reginald Jones, played by Peter Dinklage, and his partner, played by Benga Akinongbe, and the two of them team up with this young man and go on this journey to try to rescue his sister. And this certainly plays into a lot of tropes and familiar beats you would expect in a Western. You do have, like, Jack, the main character, Hawke's character, trying to save a young sex worker and having this connection with her. Those kinds of things. You see, like, this bounty hunter outlaw played by Peter Dinklage trying to break good because he's on a mission that, there's a moral high ground in this. And those elements are familiar and the film leans into them. But I feel like what the main anchoring theme of the film that helps add some layers to this is the just being ostracized. Because it isn't just our antagonist, Juliette Lewis's character, who is scarred and gruff and someone that immediately people are put on edge by just by her appearance. And there's that interesting dynamic with the fact that Peter Dinklage's character, who is a little person, winds up having those same kinds of reactions, not being taken seriously or being put on edge. And they even have a scene where there's some interesting dynamics there and how that's explored. You have all of this ragtag crew on both sides of this story with some other subplots, like I mentioned, the sex worker subplot, and then there's a whole thing where Dinklage and his partner got in trouble with this powerful man, and he sends two brothers out to get Jones, played by James Hetfield, and Macon Blair. And there's these different layers to the story and these added kinds of misfits that are thrown in. And I think that aspect of the fact that this is a story of misfits and people that are on the fringes of society on either side of our conflict makes for a more interesting and well-rounded film that, this isn't like squeaky clean John Wayne kind of protagonist in a Western. This is a complicated situation, and the story and the events of the story push our characters to places where they don't want to go and are forced to do things that they don't want to do. There's some weight here. There's moments that hit on an emotional level here. There's a few scenes that do really have a powerful emotional message. And this film really is anchored by some strong performances. The two biggest ones, Dinklage is fantastic as Reginald Jones and really brings a lot of dimensions to this character. And Juliette Lewis is certainly having a great time playing this intense, gruff outlaw. And a role that you probably wouldn't expect to see a woman being that character in a Western like this, but it really works towards the film. And this film is really shot well. It really captures the landscape of it all, the atmosphere, the tone that Elliot is able to capitalize on, Elliot Lester, the director. And it's a film that if you're into Westerns, this will feel a little bit more interesting, a little bit more raw, a little bit more visceral than many that you might experience. And it still checks those boxes of what you expect out of a Western. And I think this might be one that might even get the attention of some that aren't like, hey, I don't like Westerns. This isn't like a old black and white, morally kind of Western. There's some added dimensions that make it certainly more interesting. But those are my thoughts on The Thicket. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.